Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about a horror film called Crucifixion, released in 2017, so let's go without any delay to the video. The movie starts by showing a scene from 24 in Romania, then we hear the sound of a girl's scream who is being taken to a church with a cross upside down. There are 4 nuns with her and 1 father. The girl's name is Atlina, who has been possessed by a Gemini eagle, but how, when and where will be known at the end of the movie. However, Atlina dies while being taken to the hospital. The reason for this was that the amount of adrenaline in her body had increased significantly, which was given to her while being taken in the ambulance, according to the doctors, but they themselves were surprised because there were quite surprising things in her autopsy report, which was the doctors had never seen Nicole before. A journalist who finds out about her and becomes very connected to this thing that something like this happened to her. Now she goes straight to the prison to meet the father with the permission of her boss. Here the father tells that Adelina had made a shark with someone whose blood you have processed. Later he tells that after a 3-day-long ordeal, they finally found out the name of the demon, which was agrees, but because of father's shop, that demon became calm because he knew that there was no one to stop him now, and Adelina died while being taken in the ambulance. Now Nicole was going back, then the father said that God has sent you to help us, I know. Now Nicole goes straight to the place where Adelina was going to be cremated. As soon as she reaches here, she sees an unknown boy whose, because of this, she keeps having accidents. Here, she tries to talk to people but she doesn't get any specific information. But more questions start to arise in her mind when a sister who was very close to Idella tells her that they didn't kill her. Nicole goes to where Adelina's coffin was kept. Seeing her condition, Nicole feels very sorry for her, and suddenly all the candles there are asked. When Nicole goes down, she sees drops of blood. She finds a gate, which when she goes inside, Nicole sees a box on which Adelina was crucified. Crucifixion is a process in which a person is crucified and left to die. But in this movie, Adelina was not crucified, she was just tied to it, and what people later misinterpreted was that in the real world, an exorcism was going to be performed on her, but she was stopped in the middle. There, she saw something. She takes photos and Father Bishop stops her from behind and throws her out. Nicole leaves there and goes straight to the hotel to stay. Here she comes to know about a village custom that whenever someone dies here due to a disability, some people from the village wear masks and take out their body and burn it and drink its ashes so that this does not happen to anyone else. But then the hotel owner says that these are just such stories. She meets Father Antone with her father. She asks Father Antone some questions and she comes to know about the 2 people who came to the funeral, which are Sister Wadwa and Eddie Layla's brother Stephen and Anton. They say that for more information, you should meet Father Bishop. After meeting Father Bishop, Nicole comes to know that since Adelina came out of the house, her mental state was not good, and after hearing all this, she feels that she realizes that the father has murdered her, and to get proof, she goes back to the monastery, and there she realizes Adelina's pain and the struggles she went through there. But then she meets the boy who initially showed her the time of the accident. She is very scared to see him, and when the boy goes out of the monastery, he makes a sign like the Jagij's cross on a helicos. Now he sees Father and tour Nicole on his return. There is a stage, food and drink are fed because it is very important to know who is life. Then he will go straight. In Narg, there is the last stage. Expulsion, in which he is sent back to the helmet after knowing the name of Timon. It is called this method. Transparences often make weak people this victim and take out their own anger and black civil. The same thing happened to Agelina. He sees a black worm in Nicole's drink, and while looking for his photo, smell starts flickering the screen of the laptop. Then again, 2 more worms are seen in the same drink. I was doing the next scene. I went to the call to Adelina's brother and close friend. Here they tell that Adela was killed by the devil because he saw and heard it himself, and then a scary scene is shown which can be seen on the screen. Raises them up, strangling them. A little lower shows that she was in Germany for the past few times. She had fallen in love with someone after performing a shark summon with this boy. She had a heart of gold and she had returned to her village because the boy had betrayed her there, and only her close sister, Widow, knew about this. Now here comes the entry of a crucial character named Graybeal, who had raised Angela since childhood. They all lived in Finland during her childhood. This is what she came here to meet Father Gavel. Adelina came back here and went to meet Father Gavel. But there he committed suicide. Why did he do it? We will find out later. And because of this accident, Adelina became even weaker. Since then, if she had given up on her, she started avoiding going to church, and one after another, insects started coming out of her nose. Extra. Now, after knowing all this, she returns tomorrow, and on the way she meets Father Antone. She sits down with me and talks about her grief, saying that it is the grief that makes her want to know the secret of Adina's death. Nicole used to be out for work all the time. Her mother had cancer, and when she was in the last stage, her father gave her this information. She even told me about a therapy. But her mother flatly refused and said that I am with God and I will not come back. Her father also did not object, due to which she always became weak and started relying on God, and this was the reason why there were many chances of her posts being made, and it had already happened. Here, Father Antone say that have faith in God, He will save you, otherwise she will be very understanding. At that very moment, the child who was shown in the trousers wears a strange mask and whispers something in her ear. She tells the hotel owner that he has said something repeatedly. What does it mean? He tells her that it means that this is the owner of the hotel, watching you, but this is impossible because it was also born without a jeep. It can't speak. It was a very strange moment, and here her total poses started happening. Nicole had fallen in love with Father Antone, so she just thought of making a shark movie with them, or that Jimin was making her feel so bad that she had strange visions. After that, she goes to the house of the girl who can't speak, and her boss attacks her car and she returns in heavy rain. Sister Wadwa finds out some more things about how worms had grown in her private parts and that Timon was making her feel his presence. After that, some things were also connected about Adelina's mental state. Now, due to this accident, Adelina was taken to Dr. Feiner. While undergoing treatment there, she tells Nicole that Adelina always thought that we were all Jimin. And they are trying to do the same pose. The doctor had called this disease schizophrenia. In it, the person has hallucinations a lot, and it seems to him that such people want to kill him. Sister Wadwa was also there at the time of a violent incident. It was so dangerous that she could not see, and she escaped this punishment. She was there, so it is true, but she was not a part of it, only because of this religion. There, the dead had made it rain so that the water heater could not work. Nicole returns to the hotel, and while taking a bath, a strange demonic sound comes and the light goes out. When she opens the gate, she sees Anton, and he apologizes to her for her bad behavior yesterday and gives her a bottle of wine. Only then did Nicole really come to life again, because Anton had left a note here at night in which it was written that you fell asleep after drinking a last drink. That same night, suddenly one of Nicole's rented cars breaks down on the road. There she feels a demonic presence and feels that someone is following her. But she had called Anton, so Anton goes there, and now she stops at the church. The next morning she starts leaving, saying that she doesn't want to stay here anymore. While she is going there, she sees rays from the sun. Now these rays are believed to be the fingers of God, and they are there. She stops and goes to Father Gabriel's grave. Father Gabriel's death also coincided with the date of his mother's death. You understand why Gabriel committed suicide and how it all started. Now she goes back to the church where Father Gabriel committed suicide and asks the sister there who the last exorcism the father performed on. When she looks inside the book, the name comes out, and it is the same child who cannot speak, and that child had called the father for his father. When she talks to the father of Nicole Kos, it is revealed that he was about to kill his child in this devil's presence, but the father saved me, and my son is very special. He has a very strong connection with God because he cannot speak and is far from all evil. Jewel told me that if I went to church, he would kill me on the way. That's why my son went to church and brought the father here. Nicole's last question asks whether Father Gabriel knew Stamon's name or not, and Ashley had already found out here because only then can a spell be complete. The child points from behind and writes the name on the tanker, and this is the same tamer who was posing everyone. Inside the Agra's follow was the demon, and the demon forced the father to commit suicide and then died in the hands of Angelina. Father Gabriel transparently transferred this tamer into the evil of Atrila, and now the transference was inside Nicole, and now he has to get out. He called Anton, and then the demon overpowered him, and once again the exorcism and sham begins. Father and Town make a spell from the feet, but this time there was no problem. To defeat this tamer, his name was needed, which they already had. But one special thing about exorcism is that a person must have God inside himself, and that is inside Nicole. No, but in the end she trusts God and help is sent to Agries, and this movie ends here. So guys, how did you like this video? Comment and tell us.